So you want to scale your brand beyond $150,000 per month in revenue? You'll be happy to know that this is actually extremely doable and in a sense actually easy to do once you have the right strategy in place. I say this because just this year alone in 2024, we have already scaled over 13 different brands beyond this 150,000 per month level. Brands like these ones right here, where within the last 30 days, they're doing a 10x ROAS on just $14,000 of ad spend, and in reality, it's actually above 150,000 in revenue. Or brands like these, where within just a 30-day period, they're already almost at $1 million in revenue. Or maybe even a brand like this, a low-ticket store, but at $300,000 per month. And also this brand right here, almost $250,000 selling baby products. What you want to understand is that real true scale actually starts way before you even get to the campaign level. And I'm referring to 3 different things which make up your foundation with Google Ads. Number 1, it's the product itself. Number 2, the product feed. And number 3, the ad strategy. Now, truth be told, if your products don't have enough search volume, then it's going to be extremely difficult to even reach this $150,000 per month range. You need to ensure you have very high quality products and something people actually want. This brings us to the product feed. Now, keep in mind, bidding the highest or spending the most money is a losing strategy in 2024. You cannot win some of your biggest competitors out there because brands like Amazon, brands like eBay, they could beat you left, right, center all day long and you would not be able to do anything about it. So the real approach to really scaling beyond 150,000 a month is to go deep into the product feeds, is to really understand what Google wants, and we're gonna go over that very shortly. But the third thing that Google really wants and Google starts to reward you with is when you have a decent ad strategy. Now, I say decent because it doesn't have to be the best. It could just be a very simple or straightforward strategy, which number 1 keeps products segregated and number 2 makes the algorithm's life easier. That's really all Google needs, because that's when Google knows exactly who your perfect audience is and it can go out and reach that audience very quickly. Going back now to the product feed section, let's start talking about that first before we go to the ad strategy. Now, you want to understand that Google actually rewards brands with scale and with more customers when they do these 3 things right. Number 1, when they give assurance to Google. Number 2, when they show that they're a reliable brand. Number 3, when the brand shows that they have growth potential and they're doing things to grow. Let's start off with the first one. So assurance. With Google Ads, assurance simply means you're not a scammer. You're not just some random dropshipper trying to take advantage of Google's platform, because Google has already been burned a lot of times from dropshippers, from other brands which did not ship out their orders. And then as a result, customers started using Google's platform to shop less and less. They started reporting Google's platform more, and it just caused a lot of problems to Google. So because of that, it's become very strict as a whole, and you need to be abiding by Google's policy to ensure you are on Google's good side. And you'll have to do this by giving Google assurance, by number 1, having a track record of shipping orders on time. Number 2, having a very good landing page that's professional. Number 3, making sure there's not too many product errors or disapprovals within your product feed. These are all things which just give Google assurance that, hey, you're a real brand, you provide all the necessary information, and this is enough to get you to the second step of the process, which is the reliability process. Now, over time, Google will know if your ads are reliable and if you're a reliable brand as a whole. But to showcase to Google that you are reliable, you need to ensure you have all of the right policy pages in place. You have multiple different options for contacting. You just need to show that you're a reliable brand which serves Google's customers the right way. And then the third one is growth potential. Essentially, what Google wants to see is that you are doing things to grow your own brand. You're clicking around within the Google Merchant Center, you're adding different programs, you're trying to apply for the Google Shopping Review program, or maybe you're working with an agency like mine to actually help you scale to the next level at a much faster pace, which, by the way, if you're doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need just a little bit of extra help scaling your brand to the next level. Go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and schedule a free call with me to see how we can essentially work together and make that happen. This brings us now to the actual secrets of scaling and how to actually start scaling once you have all of these things in line. There's 4 secrets you need to keep in mind when it comes to scaling. Number 1 secret is that you need to actually make your customers feel like they're winning when they purchase from you. Here's what I mean. If a customer looks at your product, if let's say, for example, they're searching on Google for men's boots and they see a product like this one right here, which not only is in a real lifestyle background, but it has this just sort of emotional appeal to it, and it makes the user feel something. It makes the user imagine something. Then when the user actually purchases from this store or from this store or from this store, they're gonna feel like they won something. Maybe now they're winning at their fashion game and they're gonna start looking better, or maybe they just won with their feelings and now they're gonna start to feel much better wearing a boot like these. Just whatever the case might be for your product, you need to make the user feel like they won something. Now, you could also make a user feel like they won by having a pricing which is just different from everybody else's. Like for example, ASOS right here as the cheapest. I don't recommend going as the cheapest route, but maybe you could have a promotion going on which makes the user feel like they won a discount because the color here is green on Google. Or maybe you can make the user feel like they won by associating with your brand, because now they are associating with your brand and your brand has a specific niche or a calling where it's very passionate, and your users are just passionate about your brand because let's say you donate X amount of money to charity or whatever it may be. These are all things which make a user feel like they won, and that's when they purchase over and over again with your brand, not just the new customers but the old ones as well. Second secret is you want to give the Google Ads algorithm clear direction. Again, this goes back to making the algorithm feel like they can be assured about your brand. They can feel like you're reliable and you're growing, because if you're selling men's boots, for example, and then your ad shows up here but you're not even selling boots, you're selling like sneakers, then that's not really reliable and you're not assuring Google that you're doing a good job with your SEO technique. So that's when the algorithm starts to send you all kinds of wonky users, all kinds of bad traffic, and that's when you start to bid way too high per link click. But this brings me into expanding into multiple campaign types. You see, Google Shopping, Performance Max, Search campaigns, those are just individual campaign types, just 3 out of the many Google offers. The best thing you can do to really scale beyond 150,000 a month is to start incorporating these multiple campaign types, especially YouTube, as soon as possible, because that's where majority of the scale comes from. But the fourth one is that you want to use the data the campaigns actually start throwing back once you have some momentum going on to make your campaigns better, to make your backend better. Because if you do nothing with that data, what's going to happen is Google's not going to think you're growing, and this is the third pillar of getting Google's trust. However, real scale is only achieved when you can maintain these numbers long term, and here's the secret to scaling to 150K and above per month in revenue long term. Number one, you want to understand is that Google loves momentum. This means you don't want to go crazy and just start lowering budgets and just distributing your budgets to different ad platforms just because you face a few bad days with your campaigns on Google, or just because there's a few problems coming up within your Google Merchant Center. Google loves momentum, and if you lose momentum with Google Ads because let's say something went wrong with your strategy and you had to just go a different route, well then it's basically starting from scratch, which is going to be a hard thing for your brand, because now you have to gain all that momentum all over again. To keep that momentum going, you need to also be ensuring you're optimizing regularly, you're scaling your budgets or target ROAS or whatever's needed on a set schedule. So we like to personally do it every 7 to 14 days with the brands we handle, but this can be adjusted based on how much you're spending per day in any given month. But this is exactly what we're doing to scale brands under my Google Ads agency or marketing, which again, if you're doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need just a little bit of extra help scaling your brand to the next level. Go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and schedule a free call with me to see how we can essentially work together and make that happen. But check out this case study I did where we applied all of these things and not only scaled this brand to 150,000, but actually over $1 million a month in revenue.